In Axios, GOP lawmaker accuses Capitol Police of breaking into his office. So there's some crazy things going on right now in the Biden administration, up in the White House, and we continually have to talk about it because it continually happens. This is just the latest. He said that on Tuesday, he accused the U.S. Capitol Police of illegally entering his office and allegedly taking pictures of confidential legislative products in November. The weekend before Thanksgiving, Capitol Police entered my office without my knowledge and photographed confidential legislative products protected by the First Amendment. He said that days later, 3 intelligence officers attempted to enter his office and ran to one of his staffers, after which they allegedly dressed like construction workers began to question him as to the contents of a photograph taken illegally 2 days earlier. And I saw that he had done an interview with somebody. It might have been Fox, more than likely, but he had done an interview with somebody, and it was because of the groups that he was put on, the panel he was put on. They came in, they took some pictures. They said the door was open. So they came in and took some pictures. And then the intelligence officers came back later and started questioning his staff for what this meant, what that meant, started dressing in disguise and as a construction workers, like he said, and questioning him and whatnot. And that's scary. That's unconstitutional. So I'll be interesting to see what happens there, even though there doesn't seem to be any kind of accountability in the White House. And we'll talk about accountability in the White House in a minute, a little bit more. This is interesting to me. So Yahoo Finance said Biden's grade on the economy rises to an A minus. President Biden has an enviable problem. The economy under his watch is doing a lot better than voters give him credit for. Really. In the latest update from Yahoo Finance, blah, 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 Biden's grade on the economy rose from a B plus. It was a B plus to A minus. This isn't our opinion. It's what the numbers tell us. We developed this methodology at the beginning of the Trump administration with the help of Moody's Analytics, and we've kept it in place for Biden. We determine each president's grade by tracking 6 economic indicators back to the 1970s and rating how the current president compares to prior 7 at the time point in their first terms, going back to Jimmy Carter. Of the 8 presidents, Biden gets the highest marks for the total number of new jobs created since he took office. See, that's another one. This is where you have to start. Again, I like to use sources from the left and the right that I know have biases and lean certain ways, but you have to get it from all different angles so you can start finding out what's fact and what is opinion. This, I think it says, it doesn't say one way or another, but for Yahoo Finance, I'm going to say this is an actual write-up. This isn't an opinion piece, but it's full of it. We talked about this last week or the week before. The amount of jobs created, there's no telling how many has been created. They're coming back from the largest drop of jobs, loss of jobs, highest unemployment in such a long history that, yeah, when those jobs start coming back, that's a great thing. It's a good thing, as Bernie Sanders would say. It's a good thing. But that doesn't mean that these are jobs created. People are just going back to work. Unemployment's going down because people are going back to work. People are going back to work. So, the jobs, people that are employed, that's going up. But from what? From its lowest point to this, it's still not where it was in 2019. You can't tell me he's got an A minus and he still doesn't have with an A minus, he's not back to where we were in 2019. 2019 under Trump, we have like one of the best, was it 70 years or something like that? And I may be wrong. You can fact check me all you want. I'm just spitballing here. But it was like 70 years or something. It was like the best economy that we ever had was under Trump in like 2019. He had 3 years to build it up from where he got in to where he was in 2019. And we were killing it. And killing it going into the pandemic. And that ruined everything. And so now to start kind of, shutdowns are no longer happening and people are going back to work and some of the incentives are going away. So people are going back to work because of that too. You can't count that as jobs being created. That doesn't make any sense. So whatever they're using, this, I Bidenomics report card. God, what help us, Lord, have mercy. Whatever it is they created through Moody's, it's just wrong. Either that or they're just lying. And then it says the economy under his watch is doing a lot better than voters give him credit for. Why do you think? Because voters are still paying double at the gas pump than they were, a year or two ago. Excuse me. Our inflation is going through the roof. The value of our dollar bill won't go, a third as far in some cases for some things. The supply chain is still in disarray. I mean, things aren't good. Things are not good. I got a 9-year-old. She's in 3rd grade, already learning about economics. I was talking about that earlier to somebody. It blows my mind that they're learning about economics in the 3rd grade. She knows more about supply and demand than most of the people that are running this country do. And it's sad. AOC, Jen Psaki, whoever, all of them need to sit down with my 9-year-old and talk about supply and demand because they don't have the first clue. They don't have a clue. And it's infuriating to see it. But no, he doesn't get an A-. This dude does not get an A. Don't start figuring out by doing your own research who's being truthful and who's not. That's not truthful. It's not. And if you're not sure and you want to look at it, go back to last week or the week before's show when I was featuring Jen Psaki. It's 2 weeks ago. Jen Psaki used a graph and showed the jobs. It's not legit. It's not legit at all. Some good news, I think. Biden notes Tesla and the country's largest electric vehicle manufacturer among Elon Musk after Elon Musk called him a damp sock puppet in human form. He acknowledged Tesla. We did it. Win! Okay, so that probably wasn't us with my, 10 or 12 viewers or whatever. But the fact that he's acknowledging Elon Musk is huge. Let's check this article out. President Biden on Tuesday acknowledged, all this is on Tuesday. President Biden on Tuesday acknowledged Tesla as the country's largest electric vehicle manufacturer, correct? For months, Biden has faced calls to include Tesla in the national EV conversation. CEO Elon Musk has been critical of the president for boosting Ford and GM while leaving out Tesla. Done read that. All right. During a speech focused on boosting domestic electric vehicle manufacturing, Biden spoke of Tesla's influence in the industry, a departure from his usual praise for legacy automakers like Ford and General Motors. The president mentioned that over $200 billion in manufacturing investments have been greenlit by companies since last year, while also announcing that Australian company Tritium would construct a new plant in Tennessee and produce up to 30,000 electric vehicle chargers annually. Since 2021, companies have announced investments totaling more than $200 billion in domestic manufacturing here in America, he said. From iconic companies like GM and Ford, building out new electric vehicle production facilities, to Tesla, our nation's largest electric vehicle manufacturer, to innovate younger companies like Rivian, building electric trucks, or Proterra, building electric buses. Couldn't remember if I saw something. Elon Musk told Tesla fans their petition made a difference after President Biden acknowledged the company, calling it our nation's electric vehicle, our largest electric vehicle manufacturer. So I spoke about this last week, and it's great to see it because, one of the things that we talked about was why, Tesla's being left out of the conversation. And I think it was completely obvious that the government is in the pocketbooks of Ford and GM, and the unions are in the politicians' pocketbooks, pulling the purse string, so to speak. And so, the unions are writing legislation and funding the politicians and doing whatnot, and they're all in Ford and GM. It's that UAW, I want to say, United Auto Workers, and they're not there at Tesla. So there is no grip and control over Tesla like there is on the others. And I want to say that's probably why he's been getting left out, shafted, so to speak. So a bit of good news. I'm always down for that. Let's check this out. Psaki repeatedly grilled on why Biden cabinet member not fired after disrespectful behavior. So remember I was talking earlier about accountability in the White House? This will be a good one. If you don't remember, let's check this out.
But I'm not joking when I say this. If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot. On the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity. That's been missing in a big way the last 4 years.
And see, that's one of the things that Biden ran off of when he was going against Trump, was the decency and respect and stuff like that, that they said wasn't in the White House for the last 4 years. Well, here's an article, we'll get to it in a second, but here's an article that discusses, a cabinet member admitting to not treating people with respect. And on top of that, you've got people just walking out of the cabinet for Kamala, and some criticizing her on her ethics and whatnot. But here we see Psaki repeatedly grilled on why Biden cabinet member not fired after disrespectful behavior. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki refused to say Monday if President Biden would follow through on his promise to fire anyone who treats colleagues disrespectfully after a member of his cabinet apologized for such behavior. Dr. Eric Lander, a member of Biden's cabinet who serves as director of White House Office of Science and Technology Policies, apologized to his staff for speaking to them in a disrespectful and demeaning way, according to an email obtained Monday by Fox News. The email followed an internal White House investigation that found credible evidence that Leonard had spoken harshly and disrespectfully to colleagues in front of their colleagues, as first reported by Politico. Representative Anna G. Eshoo of California, who serves as chairwoman of the Subcommittee on Health, tweeted Monday evening that the White House had informed her that Lander would not be testifying as planned before the subcommittee on Tuesday. Psaki was asked by Politico reporter Alex Thompson during Monday's press briefing why the president's top science advisor still had his job in light of that Biden promised on his first day in office. His promise was, if you are ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise I will fire you on the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts. He broke that. He's not going to do it. Jen Psaki keeps saying over and over again that maybe we'll play. Does this play? Let's see.
China. Go ahead.
Just to reiterate, on Inauguration Day, President Biden said he would fire anyone that treated another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, and he would fire them on the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts. So what is the White House's message to people that work in this building and throughout the federal government that took the president at his word and don't understand why Dr. Lander has not been fired?
Our message, and thank you for your question, is that the president has crystal clear expectations with all of us about how we are to treat our colleagues, treat people who work for us, and that is what he expects for people across the building. It is because of those comments that he made early on, in part, that we put in place a safe and respectful workplace policy, that it was the mechanism for which this thorough investigation went forward.
All right, so she says he's made it clear. Well, the thing that he said was you'd be fired on the spot. That was clear. That was the clearest thing I've ever heard Biden say, probably ever, right? So he made it clear. And she says, so now we know we need to address this issue. And he made it clear that we're going to have a safe work environment. No, he made it clear that you would be fired on the spot. That was what was made clear. And Jen Psaki, she's being asked about, and of course, as always, she's dodging the answer. And in fact, I've listened to the whole thing, and maybe it's even longer than this, but the whole time she keeps dodging it, and answering it in different ways. And they're really good at that. And I guess that's why she's got her job. But yeah, not cool, man. And, I heard one time it was said to me, if a man doesn't have his word, he doesn't have anything. Or as Tony Montana says,
all I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one.
Let's go, Brandon. Your turn. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.